Welcome to the Halloween episode. In case you couldn't tell, it's a Halloween episode. I'm wearing orange, and I made a jack-o'-lantern. It's a Mr. Meeseeks. Look at him. I just wanna do her rat stuff with my friend. Wanna do her rat stuff with my friend. So let's kick this episode off with Stuff My Neighbor Does, because I never run out of material. On this episode of Stuff My Neighbor Does, so as you know, since you're all avid watchers, you know that he has a window with no screen that is exposed to my window across a carport. And so the newest development, the newest thing he's doing, it's really cool and fun, is he's turned his monitor so it just faces out the window. And this happened a couple nights ago, and I was expecting that he was just gonna play disturbing videos or something in my direction. But for now, it looks like YouTube and then just a black screen where a video would be and a spinning progress bar. So that's my view right now out my window. So I'd like to, I'm not big into movies. I mean, I like movies, but I don't, I'm not an expert. That's not my area. I would like to be, but I can't, it's hard for me to sit through movies. But my fiance loves action movies, Marvel movies, and any Bourne movies. So I agreed to watch every Bourne movie with her once in a row. And I'd like to now do a review of every Bourne movie. Here goes. So he's being pursued and he's walking through a crowd, and then he loses them. He loses his pursuers. That's it.
What else, Kyle?
So is there a ketchup scarcity that I'm not aware of? Ketchup is so impossible to get at McDonald's now. It's they don't put it in the bag automatically. And then when you ask for it, they're like, how many? I always say a handful, do it like you used to do it. Handful into the bag. Speaking of fast food, well, I guess speaking of restaurants, I don't know, whatever. I used to work for Red Lobster, but so did Nicki Minaj. It was a really bad time in my life, as you can imagine. They were super shady, always trying to get me to work off the clock. Managers tried to intimidate me, and I'm not to be intimidated. Not by Red Lobster. Maybe if managers at Exxon were trying to intimidate me, that might work. But not like Jerry, who runs the line when the line guy is sick. Sometime after I worked for them, I got this class action lawsuit announcement in the mail, and I totally sent in my information. I was like, yes, sign me up, I will testify. Just got my check in the mail. Don't need to focus on the check, but it's substantial. This sum of money could really change things for me. So in case you haven't caught on yet, the name of this podcast is based off my name. It's based off our names. So Gerd is my last name. In college, I took a semester-long course my senior year on Dickens, and I was not very engaged with it, and I didn't talk a lot. in the class, and my professor, one day I had something to add, and he called on me and he said, yes, Gerda. And I guess he thought that I was a German exchange student who was shy about my English and hadn't spoken all semester. And when everyone laughed, he was kind of confused, and he tried to correct himself, and he said, yes, Claire, not my name. Gerda Strauss. So can someone explain to me what the deal is with rappers, hip-hop artists who have their babies on their album covers, just posing with their little baby?
What else, Kyle?
Blackface, never okay. Since this is Halloween, we can talk about this. It seems to come up every Halloween. Blackface, never okay. Riddle me this: why competitive lifters in bodybuilding competitions, why they're allowed to perform in blackface? because the self-tanning is getting so crazy that these white people, they look like the woman on Maury who changed her race, in her opinion. So I'm not dressing up for Halloween this year. I don't have anywhere to go. You guys are my only friends. We are dressing our dog up, which is kind of what we live for. My outfits in the past have been diverse. They've always been male. When I was really young, I was Batman. I was also a pirate. And I know you're like, you can be a female pirate, but I specifically wasn't. My mom drew a mustache on me, a curly one. And that same year, Soph, my sister, was a bride. That was her costume. She wanted to be wed. Not a dead bride, just run-of-the-mill, 10-year-old bride. And then one year I was Cartman. I was aware of him in the zeitgeist, but I didn't watch the show. When I was younger, we had TV restrictions imposed verbally. There was no settings that my parents could set, so we couldn't watch certain things. But I remember my mom telling me that I wasn't allowed, specifically, she told me I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons, Married with Children, and Ellen. Wonder why Ellen? I don't even think South Park was on her radar. It wasn't on mine, really. And there was a big Cartman, rubber head that I had my parents buy, and I wore mitts. And my mom was like, if we get this costume, I'm not carrying the head around all night. So I ended up carrying the head around all night. It was so hot and uncomfortable. It was huge. It was you get inside of it. It wasn't like a mask. You get inside of this big bulbous Cartman head. And everyone but my mom understood that Cartman was an inappropriate costume for a child my age. But I didn't watch the show. I just like how he looked. I like his big fat head. And I wanted to be in it. Goes without saying, but I'm going to say I love my fiance. I love our life. The downside of being a lesbian is that between the two of you, one of you has to kill the bugs. Normally in a straight relationship, I think it's understood that the man is going to kill the bugs. That's his duty. I am very afraid of bugs. I don't like them, don't want them around. We unfortunately live in close quarters with other people, and we had some construction done in our unit, which left our wall open for a little while. We had a hole in our wall going to the carport. It was late one night. This is a great Halloween story. Late one night, it's dark, we're turning in for bed. I walked to the dark kitchen to get some water, and I didn't turn on the light. I was inside the kitchen, about to open the fridge, use the fridge light, and I saw the silhouette of something on our counter. We've had really big bugs get in before. I mean, we live in Southern California. There are really big bugs around. We've had these giant grasshoppers, grasshoppers. Those are the green ones that I had to kill. I was terrified. I killed it, but I made Meg clean it up. I can only do so much. We had a praying mantis. Oh, in our last place, we've had snakes in our yard, never in our house. Oh my God. Anyway, I see this thing, and I said to Meg, there's something in here with us. She went, what? And backed out. And I turned on the light, and it was a cockroach. Ugh, I know. Ugh. I freaked out. I backed out of the kitchen with my eyes on it, and then I huddled up with Meg, and I was like, what are we gonna do? And she was like, you have to kill it. You have the short hair. Fuck, you're right. What else am I gonna do? I can't call my boyfriend. I grabbed a Swiffer and a sandal, and I put on my shoes. I had sandals on, so I put closed-toed shoes on in case he got to ground level. It's so disgusting. He scurried under the microwave. And so I was standing about a Swiffer's length back from the microwave, pounding on the top of it, trying to get it to come out. So I had my sandal in my other hand, and he briefly came out from the microwave, scurried really fast and scurried back under. So we have this bug spray that I actually sprayed the perimeter of our place with, like when we moved in, because I'm so handy. And it obviously isn't working. We took the poison, so Meg stood with the poison pointed under the microwave, and I stood holding my sandal looking under the microwave as it was like sitting there just hanging out under the microwave. And I was telling Meg its movements, like as she would shoot, I'd be like, he's moving this way, he's moving that way, and she shot the poison and it ran out. And thank God, we're screaming, we're like shrieking right now. It ran right into the sink. Meg comes to the sink and she's spraying it with poison, and she's like, water, water. And I ran the hot water and just like scalded the shit out of it, and it's like scurrying and I'm scalding it. It was an absolute nightmare. It was so disgusting. I didn't sleep that night. It's just made me think that maybe we need a boyfriend just to take care of the bugs. We don't need him for anything. Well, maybe he could, like, with a patch of drywall that he could probably fix. Sometimes when I try to use the drill, I break it. I'm not saying that women aren't capable of these things at all. Women aren't capable of driving well, except for lesbians, but straight women can't drive for shit. After that, we tore this whole place apart, called our landlord. We bug sprayed the shit out of this place, and I haven't seen anything since, but I just live in constant fear. What do you say, Mr. Meeseeks? He says existence is pain. And now it's time for some misconnections. Is that a melody of something? I just made that up. Let me know. Well, I guess YouTube will let me know if it's a copyright infringement. Let's just read some of the titles. We got Eye Contact Movie Theater. She definitely wants you, bro. God forbid you're a woman and your eyes accidentally meet someone else's. Then you're gonna be in their erotic fiction for life. Like, just keep your eyes down. We got Man for Man at the 24-hour Panorama. Nicholas, cashier at CVS, hit me up. Big, shiny, bubble butt, big ass. Male seeking male for that one. I grabbed your boobs on Sunset. That could be the story they tell at their wedding. Eye contact at Habit today at 2 p.m. Like I said, beware that eye contact. White boy with big ass at 24-hour fitness. Filipina who drives white Corolla. Universal Horror Night, you were that girl wearing flip-flops. There was only one. Help me find Lebanese Jessica. Happy Halloween! Charlie, are you so excited to be wearing this? You seem excited. You're panting like you're very excited. Since you're always eating the grass and since you're fat, we thought you could be a cow. And then we got you a Halloween toy. Frankie Ropenstein. What do you think about that? Your breath smells like poo. Do you watch my podcast? I could really use the views, and if you could click subscribe. I only subscribe to channels that I stand behind. Anyway, Charlie, it's about time to sign off now, and I can tell by how far your tongue is out your mouth that you're way too hot in this hat. Bye, guys!